Welcome back to my channel, and today it's all about the almighty Cardano, and I will be telling you most of everything you need to know just in case you're thinking of investing in Cardano in 2018, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. Now let's get straight into this Cardano talk. What is Cardano? Cardano is simply a decentralized public blockchain and cryptocurrency project. It is an ongoing project founded in 2015 by IOHK, by Charles Hoskinson and Jeremy Wood. Charles is the former co-founder of Ethereum before the fork, and after the fork he became the leader of the unforked version, which is now Ethereum Classic. Now we're going to split talking about Cardano into three different parts. First, we're going to talk about the roadmap, where Cardano is going. Second, we're going to talk about the technology. And thirdly, we're going to talk about the reason for Cardano. So why Cardano is doing what they want to do. Now let's get straight into this. The roadmap. So three principles that guide the development of a roadmap are growth of the community and its needs, a distributed and resilient network true to the original version of Satoshi. Thirdly, balancing the pace of research and development so that commercial advantage does not win over the application of this science or this technology. I mean, they want to make it quite obvious that this is not, you shouldn't go into this for the money. So Cardano is currently in the Byron phase of the roadmap. There's the Byron phase and there's the Shelley phase. I think it's nice how they've named, this after people. So Byron and Shelley are actually named after two romantic poets that were friends in the 18th century. Sadly, they both died very young. Byron died at the age of 36 from a fever, and Shelley died at the age of 29 whilst sailing on his boat. Even the name Cardano is from Girolamo Cardano, and this man was an Italian polymath from the 15th century, and he died age 74. Even Ada the coin was named after Ada Lovelace, and she was the first ever computer programmer, and she died really young as well at the age of 36. Okay, so now let's move on because this is not a history class, but I just think it's nice how they've actually named Byron, Shelley, Ada and Cardano after people from way back in the days. Right, so let's talk about the Byron phase. So the Byron phase is a bootstrap phase. So this is this phase where things are being improved upon. So the code has been improved upon. The daedalus design is actually being improved upon as well. They want to make integration through APIs to third parties simpler. So Cardano are actually going to partner with Bittrex and partner with Ledger because these platforms are already experts in the wallet field. And then they'll move on to Shelley, where the network becomes fully decentralized. So here, Cardano will put our proposals to the community, and me and you, the community, get to vote. So we actually do have a say in whatever will go on in the Cardano community, which I think is quite cool because decentralization actually means no middleman. So it literally means the community, because Cardano actually belongs to ADA holders, and this is expected by the second quarter of 2018. So now let's talk about the not so tech side of Cardano. Cardano is a third generation protocol written in Haskell functional programming language, and Cardano is the first ever cryptocurrency to be written in Haskell. The coin for Cardano is ADA, and there will only ever be 45 billion ADAs available to us. Its market cap at present is just over $10 billion, with its highest being over 12 billion. And this coin is only around 3 months old. You're probably wondering, what is the third generation protocol? What is the first one and what is the second one? Well, the third generation protocol, we probably already know this, is Bitcoin. Bitcoin was created for exchange of value, so peer-to-peer, me to you. Just like Bitcoin, Ethereum's coin Ether can also be exchanged for value, so peer-to-peer, me to you. And the protocol is additionally used for customizable transactions by means of smart contracts. We probably already know what smart contracts are, but for the benefit of those that don't, I will define what a smart contract is. A smart contract is also known as a crypto contract. It's a computer program that directly controls the transfer of digital currencies or assets between parties under certain conditions. The key word here is certain conditions, which can also mean terms and conditions. This allows you to perform credible transactions without needing a third party. And with this, loads of businesses have been able to build decentralized applications, also known as dApps, on Ethereum's network. This is what Bitcoin doesn't have. So this is the second generation one. Now back to the third generation protocol, Cardano. There are two principles guiding Cardano. The first is peer review. Cardano is built from peer review at some of the world's foremost universities. This is a process of subjecting research or ideas to the scrutiny of experts in that field before the paper can be published or be taken to conference. So there's no copy and paste code here. It's all been peer reviewed. Secondly, Cardano is built from high assurance software code. So this improves the level of assurance. This is basically establishing evidence that the software has no flaws. Computer science and mathematics will be applied to achieve this. So instead of documenting how a software has been built, there will be final evidence about the software that has been built. So we're not really going to see the steps. All we're going to see is the final evidence of the result of the steps, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. Now, let's move on to the existing problems of the first and second generation protocols that Cardano wants to solve. First is scalability, the second is interoperability, and the third is sustainability. Let's talk about scalability first. I'm sure a lot of you guys have to wait at least an hour or two when you send Bitcoin or Ether. This is because of the way these networks have been built. The more people come on the network, the slower the network becomes. I'm sure we'd all agree that this needs fixing. I mean, PayPal is doing around 200 transactions per second. Visa is doing about 2,000 transactions per second with a peak daily rate of 4,000 transactions per second. Visa actually has a peak capacity of 56,000 transactions per second, but they don't even use up to a third of this, even during peak shopping periods, like Black Fridays and, you know, the Boxing Day sales and all of that. So how is it acceptable that Bitcoin is doing 5 to 6 transactions per second and Ethereum is doing around 20 transactions per second? Even Uber does 12 rides per second. So if Bitcoin can't compete with Uber, what are we talking about here? There definitely needs to be a way to fix this, and Cardano is here to do it. So Cardano is going to fix this using Ouroboros. Ouroboros is the first protocol to be proven secure in a very rigorous cryptographic way. Ouroboros is a provably secure proof-of-stake algorithm. So it divides the physical time into epochs, and epochs is divided into slots, just as we can see here. We can see how epoch M is divided into 4 slots. Slots is a short period of time, say like 20 seconds. In token distribution, epochs is able to hold an election and create slot leaders, and there can only be one slot leader, as seen in the second figure here. As we can also see in figure 3, a slot leader has a sole right to produce one and only one block during his slot. So this means that the number of slot leaders is strictly equal to the number of slots in epoch. Let's call this number n. So it's impossible to produce more than n blocks during an epoch. Let's just say, for example, a lecturer is assigned to look after 5 lecture rooms. He must stick to looking after the 5 lecture rooms, and it will be impossible to look after more than 5 lecture rooms at that given time. So if a slot leader misses a slot, say for example it was offline at that time, he will lose his right to produce a block, and he would have to wait to be re-elected again. Basically, slot leaders are like miners, just as in Bitcoin, but here they don't need the expensive computational resources that Bitcoin network needs. This way, it will be cheaper to maintain the network, because at the moment, Bitcoin costs $300,000 an hour to maintain. Yes, $300,000 an hour it costs to maintain Bitcoin by the hour. Cardano hopes that Ouroboros will be made quantum resistant by 2018. So when a slot leader signs his blocks, he'll be using quantum resistant signature scheme. Ouroboros was accepted at Crypto 2017. It's just the annual conference. This was the 7th one this year, the annual cryptology conference. I mean, this gives the assurance that the conceptual design of the system is actually correct. So peace of mind, guys. Peace if you've invested.
Sorry guys, my camera battery died and I didn't realize, so apparently this part of the video is missing, hence the slide. So the second biggest scalability problem is the bandwidth required to support the data as transactions carry the data. So the more transactions, the more network resources are required. Large amounts of data need to move at the same time as the network goes from a few hundred transactions per second to a few thousand transactions per second. So here, a homogeneous network topology cannot cut it. Every node cannot relay every message, especially as the messages get bigger and bigger and bigger. So Cardano wants to rectify this problem using RINA. RINA is a recursive internetwork architecture. It's a new structured network using policies, and it was first conceived by John Day of Boston University. It's a heterogeneous network that gives similar types of privacy and transparency guarantees that you would expect to get from protocol networks like TCP/IP. Also, it will seamlessly and interoperate with TCP/IP. Reno will help Cardano as Cardano grows from hundreds of transactions per second to thousands of transactions per second. And this is coming in 2018, but to be completed in 2019.
The third scalability problem is data scaling. Data scale is a problem because as the data gets very cumbersome, each node has to have a copy. It will need more space as the data goes from megabytes to gigabytes and so on. Not everyone requires all the data that has been registered on the blockchain. I mean, a transaction between me and you is not relevant to Donald Trump. So to rectify this, Cardano has come up with a lot of options actually. I think about 5 different options. So pruning and subscription. Here, the amount of data one user needs to store will substantially reduce. Also, they've come up with partitioning as well, and this is where a user doesn't have to have the full copy of the blockchain. The use of sidechains has also been proposed. This is a notion of creating a compressed representation of the blockchains as it grows from megabytes to petabytes. So basically, Cardano wants to restrict what people see on a case-by-case basis. In summary, what Cardano wants to do is come up with a new blockchain architecture where people will have smaller amounts of data, but overall get the same level of assurance and security that the transactions that are being received are correct, even though the proofs are quite small. There's no point having a load of files when you can have a little tiny piece of paper summarizing everything. So that's pretty much what Cardano is looking to do when it comes to the data scale problem. So this research was started in the University of Edinburgh, and they hope to come up with something by 2018 and a solution by 2019. Yet another long wait. Somebody bite me. So yes, let's move on to the second biggest problem facing the first and the second generation protocols, which is interoperability. At the moment, cryptocurrencies have their own network and their own systems, while the legacy systems, like the traditional banking systems, also have their protocols as well, protocols like SWIFT. And these systems all speak their languages. So all the languages they speak are different. There's no way for them to understand each other. If you raise 200 million via an ICO and you wanted to cash out at a bank, I mean, you get questions asking you where the money came from and telling them, I did an ICO for my business and I now have 200 million and I need to cash out because I need to build a business. That's not a good enough story. So Cardano wants to basically bridge the gap between cryptocurrencies and the traditional banking system. They want to create a cryptocurrency that has the capacity to understand other cryptocurrencies as well as the banking systems. They're going to achieve this using sidechains. So sidechains is quite an interesting one to look at. Now let's move on to the third biggest problem faced by the first and second generation protocols, which is sustainability. How will this network pay for itself? Cryptocurrencies are not companies, it's decentralized, it's infrastructure, they're protocols. How are they going to pay for themselves? So now Cardano wants to construct a system that has a treasury, where the blockchain is able to produce some money for itself and hide it away in a decentralized account. Dash was the first to pioneer this model. All the money made in Bitcoin goes to the miners, but in Dash's case, they actually save some money for the network in a decentralized account. So this is what Cardano is trying to do as well. So in Cardano's case, there will be a democratic method to vote on funding proposals. So ballots will be submitted to obtain funding, and the money will be released based on priority. Like if a developer needs to improve something on the network, he would have to submit a ballot. The ballot would have to be approved before the funds will be released to him. So they're still researching this, and they're thinking of using a modification of liquid democracy combined with an incentivized treasury model. So people actually get paid to use this model. And this has been developed in a joint partnership with Lancaster University. When it comes to changes are inevitable, right? At the moment, in the cryptocurrency world, they're done with soft forks or hard forks. I mean, there was a hard fork with Bitcoin, and it gave it to Bitcoin Cash. There's another one with Ethereum, and it gave it to Ethereum Classic. Even when countries have problems with their constitution, they actually sit down and amend the constitution. They don't, because of that, split the country into two. Yes, it's because of the way the blockchain has been built, but in Cardano's case, Charles is trying to find a way where improvements can be made without actually having a hard fork. So instead of a hard fork, they're going to use soft forks and a voting system, and this will be machine understandable as well. And this is called the Cardano's Improvement Protocol, and the paper will be written in the first quarter of 2018. As a whole, guys, the protocol's design is geared towards protecting the privacy rights of users whilst also taking into consideration the needs of the regulators. In doing so, Cardano is the first to balance these requirements in an effective manner, pioneering a new approach for cryptocurrencies. While the platform is solid, the need for it to evolve and adapt to changing needs is also being recognized. They have designed a system that can be upgraded without using hard forks. The most interesting part, guys, is that Cardano is trying to explore new cryptography to identify ourselves rather than just using it for cryptocurrencies. So maybe in the near future, we will be having crypto passports. Who knows? Now, let's move on to the reason why Cardano is being built. Why Cardano? The ultimate reality of cryptocurrencies is not to disrupt the existing legacy financial systems. The legacy financial systems are always capable of absorbing change whilst maintaining their forms and their functions. Rather, they want to look at places where it's simply too expensive to deploy the existing banking systems, where many people live on less than a few dollars a day, have no stable identity, and credit is impossible to get. In this place is the power to bundle the payment system, property rights, identity, credit and risk protection into a single platform running on a mobile phone. It's not just useful, it is life-changing. It doesn't feel like we do have a legitimate shot at delivering or at least advancing this vision for the developing world. And personally, I believe that the developing world needs this more than anyone else. So that brings me to the end of my Cardano talk today. I want to know what you guys think about Cardano. This is a big project, guys. So I would advise that you guys go and look at the white paper, the foundation, just everything on the website in general. I'll put links down below. Additionally, guys, my main aim for this channel was or is to explain cryptocurrencies to non-technical people. The crypto space is based in technology and sometimes can seem a little bit complicated. And since I'm a crypto evangelist, which means I like to see more people come into the crypto space, I've decided to take it upon myself to educate people in my own little way. Since I'm a newbie to YouTube, if you do have any suggestions or maybe video quality or audio quality, please let me know. Leave a comment in the comment section below. Or you have any questions about this video, let me know in the comment section below as well. If you have nothing to say, you have no suggestions about how I can improve, and you have no questions about Cardano, just say hi and I'll say hi back. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to click that picture right down there at the bottom of your screen to subscribe, just so you don't miss my future videos, and I will see you on my next video.